To be honest, I was quite skeptical the first time we tried starting seeds at home. At the back of my mind, I just kept asking myself if it was even worth all the effort or if I would mess something up and if we should just rather go to a nursery and pick up seedlings. But as with any new thing, it's actually a pretty straightforward process if you follow some basic rules. And honestly, the beautiful aspect of gardening is the fact that it's all nature's work and there's nothing like we are growing something. We just enable them and nature does all the magic. So however you try, you can't mess things up quite bad. Knowing some simple tips can create the magic more easier with seed starting as well. As discussed in our previous video on garden planning, the first step is to know when to start the seeds indoors, as it can vary from one plant to another. Looking at your seed packet or any app like the Burpee Garden Planner is the best way to go. Once you know when to start, let's look at what you need. First, you need a seed starting tray, some potting mix, seeds of course, a good pair of gardening gloves, a hand shovel might be good to have, some ice cream sticks, and a permanent marker or a pen. Seed starting trays are basically a set of cells with holes underneath which suck water from the tray as needed. The idea is to not pour water in the top as they might hurt the tiny little seedlings, and it's also more of a self-control system. You should be able to find these at any local Home Depot stores like Lowe's, Walmart or Menards, etc. There are eco-friendly options available in these as well, but if you choose to buy plastic, please make it a point to wash and store them carefully and reuse the next few years. Also keep in mind that garden soil and seed starting or potting mixes are totally different things. Garden soil is used for landscaping, lawns, etc. And what you need for seed starting is a potting mix, or better anything which explicitly states seed starting mix. If you have more than 2 plants you seed start, we highly recommend you to label your plants, that way you're not wondering what spot when they pop up. Okay, so now we're all set. All you need to do is fill in the potting mix in the cells and give it a gentle tap. Arrange all the cells on the tray. It's ideal to grow these in a sunny window spot in your home where the temperature is controlled to around 65 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit. We usually use a multi-purpose rack which we place by the window in our dining area for the 2 months we do the seed starting, but any spot in your home which receives some natural sunlight for 5 to 7 hours a day, or even a greenhouse for that matter, should work. You could also use grow lights if you have absolutely no window spots in your house, but we realize that sunlight is actually pretty good enough if you have, and that way you don't need anything fancy. Next, take your tray and place it on the surface you're going to leave it at, and then fill in the tray with water just halfway through. Refer to the seed packet for the instructions on how deep they should be sown. Some seeds need roughly a 1/4 inch or a 1/2 inch, or some like chamomile even needs to be left on the surface. So do check the instructions and based on it, roughly make a hole in the soil using either your finger or a stick. Place 1 seed in each cell and cover it up. And that's about it. In a matter of week or 10 days, you'll notice the seedlings start to pop up. And remember, just like us, each plant is unique and has a different time it wants to show up. So don't be disappointed if you don't see your peppers or eggplants show up in 10 days while your other seeds did, as they generally take a little longer to germinate. Some caution tips with seed starting. First and foremost, never overwater. This is something we learned the very hard way after killing a lot of our plants with overwatering. Especially with indoor gardening or seed starting, the soil needs to be moist to enable the seeds to germinate, but never drenched nor dry. Periodically monitor the water levels in the tray and make sure it's no more or less than halfway full. Next, keep open trash out of the way. Fruit flies or fungus gnats, which tend to accumulate in the trash cans, love to hang out near your seedlings due to all the moisture. So don't give them a chance and keep the trash bins closed all the time, or if possible, out of the way. If you've placed your trays by a window like us, in which it receives sunlight from just one direction, it's natural for it to turn towards the direction of the sunlight. Letting them grow in just one way bent would mean weak stems eventually. So all it needs is a gentle turning around of the trays once in 2 days to make sure that they eventually balance out. I think as a first-time gardener, I always had this question. Oh, so when should I add in that organic fertilizer? Don't worry, the potting mix has it all covered for you for the next 1 month or even until you transplant it to the ground. After the seedlings reach a height of about 4 to 6 inches, the root system, however, might get a little crowded in these tiny cells. So at that point, which is usually after a month or 5 weeks, we would have to transplant them to a slightly bigger pot, or we could even use paper cups. So that is all you need to know to grow these tiny and beautiful seedlings on your own. You could even start a few more than you need and share it with a friend. That way you can try a lot more varieties of each plant. Until we see you next time, should I say happy seed starting?